Hey everybody, this is Brandon with RPG Overviews, and let's continue exploring the Valley Out of Time. This is a Skeeter Green production, and it says a fight for survival in Danger Valley. It is compatible with DCC RPG and compatible with MCC RPG. It says amazing. Creatures of a lost time fighting for their world. Shocking. Lost in a primitive land. The heroes must fight to survive. Awesome. Now you can be the champion of a new land that time abandoned, and fantastic. Dinosaurs, lizards, giant apes, giant snakes, humanoids, and more. $10. You can get the PDF on DriveThruRPG, or you can get it from his website. Of course, I'll have links in the description down below if you want to pick them up. Here is the back. We've got this cool dinosaur once again, and it explains kind of the same as the back of them as the other zines in this series that I've done videos on. Of course, I hope you'll check those videos out as well. Thank you to everybody who has joined and subscribed to my channel. Please like, subscribe if you haven't, and I appreciate it. So let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to be spoiling this, of course. So this is all kind of the same. This area right here, kind of recapping everything that's going on in this valley. And it says Danger Valley is a part 3 of the series, suitable for experienced characters in the Timeless Valley. 4 to 6 characters of levels 3 to 6 should find the various encounters presented herein challenging but manageable. If they can learn, run away to fight another day. That's going to be very, very important here. It says a good mix of classes is important, and classes with a nature focus are important for success. The Timeless Valley is inhabited by various unevolved humanoid tribes, megafauna, giant insectoid life, and other unusual hazards. So what we're going to have is a series of encounters. Now, a lot of these encounters involve traveling and coming across something, either hearing something, seeing something, and then you have to make a decision, you and your party, making a decision whether or not you want to try to converse with them, if obviously there's some sort of terrible monster, either avoiding them or killing them, as they will probably try to kill you. So in this first one here, it's going to tell you a couple places where it could happen, and you're going to notice a group of about a dozen roughly human-sized humanoids walking single file in a line. They are Zothmen. They are Zothman Ermin. They're moving, and the PCs notice them. It's going to tell you how far away they are. It's probably going to be like in the grasslands or like the hills or something like that. The Zothmen also noticed the PC party, and they hid with their using either the camouflage from DCC or holographic skin from MCC, and that's how it kind of works. It gives you kind of both of those. Which brings me to, I don't know which game I would use this in. I almost feel like I would use this in MCC RPG more than DCC. I just think it would be neat to see, because the land's already so changed, whether or not the PCs could see that they're obviously in a much stranger place, and how to react to these very, very interesting and different type of creatures and people. I think I would use it with MCC, but DCC would work too. I'm really kind of conflicted. So if you've played these or you've been watching these videos, which one would you do, DCC or MCC? Because I've been kind of on the fence, kind of maybe 60% MCC, 40% DCC, but I'm not sure. So they're very good at hiding. It says if the party approaches the Zothman's position while they're hiding, they allows the PCs to approach within 10 yards before rushing to melee attack. So they will try to kill you. They're going to try to attack you. When the characters can clearly see their attackers, the humanoids are degenerate, tribal pre-human beings. They are covered in smeared feces and mud and display odd, splotchy markings, which may be poorly crafted tattoos or smears of pigment from some jungle flower. So they're pretty terrible. They're naked with thick limbs and distended bellies. They reek of offal, dung, and other unidentifiable odors. That's fantastic. So here's a drawing of one of them, and overall the art is pretty good. I like this right here. This talks about the fight here and how they're going to go. Some of them, it says, might have like a piece of metal, or some sort of finely crafted metal weapon. Could be interesting where they found that out. And one thing I really like about this series is that it's going to give you DCC stuff, and it's going to give you MCC stats as well. And it doesn't take up a whole much room to do. It's very easy just to say, the bracelet is worth, in DCC, 1d4 silver pieces, or in MCC, 1d4 creds. Very easy to do that, or if they have certain abilities. And so this is just a typical kind of run into this group right here. It could lead maybe to something down the road of where maybe they found some of these metal weapons. And then here is a big problem, is the next encounter. And it says it's probably going to be a pretty challenging encounter, so you need to really watch out. They're going to come across and hear the big booms and shaking of a drawing near cave giant, and it's absolutely massive in size. And so they're going to have to react when they know that this thing is coming Are they going to hide? Or are they going to try to stand and fight? Are they going to try to run? And this is definitely kind of how it is. You can see fight, 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 this little section here. It's definitely going to break down the different ways that you can react to this, this huge giant. And so that's pretty cool. And then it says, from the frying pan into the fire. If the characters are having a tough time with the giant or lower level, or are just victims of bad dice rolls, let them face this foe alone, and then potentially flee the area. However, if the party easily dispatches the giant, or if the judge is feeling particularly confrontational, there are 1d4+1 additional giants at the bottom of the far side of the hill, so good luck with that. So one thing I really like about this too is because treasure is so different in the valley. It says right here the giant has no treasure but does possess resources. So you really break down the pieces of these humanoids and creatures and strange dinosaurs and stuff that you find, and use those for trade or whatever the case may be. I really like that. It almost reminds me of Monster Hunter, the video game, where you kind of break down their pieces and get your cuts, as we always say. So its dressing could be taken and used as a tent, severing the giant's head and carrying it influences reactions from the indigenous people of the valley. The giant's teeth or bones could be fashioned into makeshift weapons. I like that a lot. I always like that. There's a lot of meat on a giant for distracting animals, you savages. Trying to say, obviously, don't eat this guy. The next one is called the Second Labor. Again, probably going to be in the jungle. It doesn't have a giant this time, but what it's going to have is it's going to have this terrible Hydra right here. Two pieces of art right here. They're both pretty neat. This mug's really up in your face right there. You've got a bad day if that guy's right there in your face. But its name is Shah. And it talks about the lair. There's no map of the lair or anything like that, but it kind of talks about how this is kind of like a nest of serpents. It receives sacrifices and gifts from the nearby denizens, all fear to tread the inner domain of Shah, and all gifts are left at its muddy edge before making a speedy retreat. A massive serpent retrieves all offerings, a great green and gold thing, slithering forth larger than a human's waist, and with a yawning, unhinged jaw, it swallows nearly anything left for it. So if they're intrigued, maybe they can go try to plunder its depths, because obviously a lot of people have dropped stuff off, gifts, and maybe they can try to go get them. So this is pretty much a little bit of a dungeon crawl as you're going to try to fight this Hydra. Now the thing about the Hydra, of course, is that you've got all the different heads, and the heads, once you cut them off, will spawn 2 other heads. So you're going to have to deal with that, trying to take it down. And then it's got treasure again of its body, as well as what's buried in the pool. Lots of cool stuff for DCC and MCC. So you can get a lot of treasure out of here, which is pretty good. But it's going to be a very tough fight, since she's obviously a venomous Hydra. So you've got that on top of it too, in which she can inflict poison on you. So that's terrible. So 6 piece to go. This one's interesting, in which you hear a ruckus in the distance. I always enjoy a good ruckus. A cacophony of rumbling, squawks, honks, and other unintelligible sounds. As they are traveling in some tall grass, they see that there are these huge chickens coming at them, these axe beaks. And it's just by happenstance where they are in this tall grass, these axe beaks are coming at them. And so you're going to need to decide what you're going to do. So a lot of the encounters are kind of like that, where these things are coming at you, you need to react. And so once again, you might be able to get by with them not seeing you, or they're going to come see you and try to attack you. And then we've got some great treasure here, even stuff that might lead to their nest, where you might be able to find some cool stuff there as well. A demon ogre on the loose. This can happen anywhere, it says, but the area is kind of like this is like kind of the first thing that adds a strong supernatural element, it says, to an otherwise reserved setting or region. So it's a little bit of a supernatural thing. It's going to kind of spice it up, as it says here. You're going to enter a blighted area, fire blackened, desolate, and with an unexplained chill in the air. They abruptly smell sulfur in the air, as if a bushel of rotten eggs suddenly appeared. The stench is pervasive, but does not come from any definable direction. The stench and subtle feeling of unease follows the characters for a few minutes. So this has got a cool vibe to it, to kind of change it up a little bit while they're there. So I kind of like that a lot. There is an enormous humanoid emerges, dragging itself into the character's view. It's a monstrosity, towering to twice human height. Its malignant skin is a grotesque hue of greenish black with rippling but asymmetric muscularity. I like that right there. That's a good sentence. The thing does not look like it can move agilely, being bent and twisted of limb. It is hairless with protruding ears reminiscent of a bat. It exudes a stench of sulfur, primal sweat, and some other animalistic odor the PCs do not recognize. It feels corrupt from a distance. It is a demon ogre. And it's going to tell you how to fight it in melee. It's going to be really nasty. It's got a bear hug. It can reform itself. It can do some spell type stuff. It can do like choking cloud and darkness, protection from good. It can curse you. But the reformation is neat. When it hits hit points drop to 0, the demon ogre disintegrates into a slimy pool of utter filth. I like that. Over the course of one day, the putrid puddle reforms into the demon ogre with full hit points. So terrible. Only by driving a bone or stone spike into its head during combat can it be permanently killed. Interesting. Driving the spike into the putrid puddle does not affect it. This can be accomplished by either a successful mighty deed of arms or a successful luck check, so it's pretty neat. It casts spells as a cleric, and then again, it says, not for the faint of heart. A few pieces of the demon ogre are extremely valuable, so obviously breaking it, getting its heart is going to help with like conjuration type magics. The creature's eyes have seen much. I like this. If removed from the demon ogre, they solidify over the course of 1 hour into a very hard crystalline substance. If the eye rock is held in front of the bearer's eyes and used to scan an area, the chance of detecting a secret door is increased. I like that a lot. It's very cool. And it kind of is the same thing if you do the MCC stuff. So then we've got Falling Tree Beasts, and this is a fun, deadly, it could be deadly encounter. So as you're traveling, you're going to be in the jungle, and you're going to come across these guys, and they are going to be very pissed at you. These mandrills, it says, normally quite passive and peaceful, this troop of mandrills has suffered a great loss. The giant mandrill alpha has recently lost its mate to jungle predator, and it is forlorn, despondent, and irritated. When the troop notices intruders to their area, well, they react poorly for the character. So they start dropping aggressively these lumberheads. It's a type of fruit, these hard fruits. They drop the fruits from a significant height, 30 feet up, and of course they're going to try to, they're not exactly throwing it directly at them, but there's a chance that you could get hit by one, and that's going to hurt you pretty bad. And then after a while, this giant mandrill alpha is going to burst through the underbrush and try to murder you, more than likely. So I like this. It says guerrilla warfare. I know mandrills are not in the gorilla family, but that was too good to pass up. Understandable. I would have done the same, Skeeter. And so it's going to have some stuff like that. And this is the thing where it matters how well you take this guy down. You could keep sending more of these mandrills at them, at the PCs, just over and over again. It does tell you about this type of fruit, and it's actually pretty neat how it breaks it down, how it's used by some of the jungle tribes. I like that a lot. Then you've got tigers and wolves, and worse, oh my. So you've got some tigers, you've got some wolves, and apparently these tigers are being surrounded by a whole bunch of wolves. And there's been a fight of some sort. You come across it, and you can decide what you want to do. If you want to help the tigers, if you want to help the wolves, I like that type of option there. But then, all of a sudden, the ground starts to shake. You can see it kind of rise up, and a boulet is there as it furrows through the area, and it's going to start attacking the tigers. And so now you've got kind of a three-way thing, and when your PCs enter it, it's going to be a four-way fight. So the boulet is going to be very, very strong. It's a very tough creature. It really lets you know that about its abilities. And the treasures and resources from its bodies are going to be quite great, especially as well the tigers, like its fur and the pelts of the wolves. So neat encounter. Could be very deadly. The boulet's nothing to joke at, nothing to sneeze at, as they say. And it's going to be a pretty nasty fight. So that should be fun. And then the treasure is going to be great. It's going to be, like it says here, the head of the boulet is a unique treasure. A village headsman, tribal leader, or humanoid group would gladly trade their most priceless item for such a treasure. So it's going to tell you there how you can kind of do that with, like a real rare magical item or technological item component maybe. It could be almost like a quest item you're given. The next one is going to be Cavalry Charge. This is an interesting one as well. So you're going to see, it says that you're going to see a stampede of dinosaurs coming at you from about 100 yards. They're they look like lizard type things. Obviously, it says there's something on each of their backs. There's a total of 6 of them, one in the front and others weaving behind the lead beast. They're approaching fast, and the bundles on their backs are people with long sticks. Wait, those are lances. So you've got these people that are called Payet Ermin. It's a type of tribe that's around here, and this is an interesting thing in which it's going to see how you react to them. That you might try to fight them, and they don't really kind of want to fight you. It's kind of like a thing of like, you could possibly get some allies out of these guys. So I really like that. I like that there's some options. Not always just, okay, you're different than me, you're something strange, let's kill you. The place there, whenever you confront them, if you're able to, get them over to your side, you're able to maybe get a safe base of operations in their little huts and stuff that they have, their little community. It says having a safe base of operations allows the character to explore the valley, learn its secrets, and gain a helpful native community for support. It is literally priceless. The Payette village can be a source of rumors and campaign hooks for the PCs, as well as a resting point between other encounters and explorations. So it's neat. Now, one thing it does too is it references some of the other books, like here, Valley Out of Time, Tribes and Factions, for more information. And that's a zine that's not the third one. It's going to be later on. So it does want you to kind of, obviously the way zines do, kind of get all of them, to help solidify the package. And then it's going to finish up here with the classic confrontation, where you're going to come across a Triceratops is circling with a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Hopefully you know what both those dinosaurs are. And the T-Rex, of course, is going to be a very nasty foe, but they both are nasty foes. And they're going to be fighting. And again, you're going to have to choose which side to aid. It says both saurians are evenly matched. The Triceratops' armor and forward horns are able to score savage wounds on the longer T-Rex, while the T-Rex's bite immediately inflicts terrible wounds on the Trike's body. Who wins this encounter may be up to the PC's involvement. So it's going to tell you about how to do some combat between them. You can see their stats. The T-Rex, of course, is absolute brute. It can pretty much swallow you whole. And then huge treasure, much like the Boule, the tigers, and the wolves, how that would affect other, like if you want to try to use that to gain support from local tribesmen. So just that classic confrontation, and I like that piece of art here. And then we've got our monsters in the back, new monsters, so it's got all their stats again, explaining more about like the demon ogre, so that's pretty nice. And then your different your dinosaurs, so you can give them dino damage. The type of dinosaur that those Payettes ride are called a Theroposaur. So that's neat. And then here's our T-Rex. So it is nice to have these monsters in the back here like that. You've got our venomous Hydra, the cave giant, the Mandrill, the subhuman Zothman, and then our dire wolf. And then there's a little bit more of the fiction story that's going on in the history of the Timeless Valley, finishing up telling you about Yath, which is pretty much like the main bad entity, the main bad being that influences the land, the people, the creatures, and it's a neat little read, not too long, just one page. And then in the back here, we've got some GM notes. Now, here's another thing. I always look at these, and I once saw someone online. It was on Google Plus back in the day, and they pretty much said, don't treat your books like trophies. Don't treat them like they're priceless relics. He would write in his books. He would underline stuff, highlight stuff, rip pages, dog ear pages. He didn't care, and to me, it was just absolutely sacrilegious. But to each their own, and a little zine like this, if you wanted to do some notes, especially if they were permanent notes that you would always have when you ran this, I could see that being very helpful in that section right there. You got a lot of area there to do it. So there it is, the Valley Out of Time, Danger Valley. Now, I like it. It's like a thing where I like encounters. I would like to even see even more of these. I mean, as many as that can be put out for this setting would be great. But I do think it's helpful just to give you some action that happens in the valley. Some of it can be very dangerous, of course, really ramp up in that death zone there where, if we mess with this, the PCs are probably going to get a TPK. But it's cool, and it's got some neat dino stuff in it if you want to do some dino damage. And that's the Valley Out of Time, Danger Valley. Thanks for watching. As always, I really appreciate it.